to another episode of SoulPod Studio. I'm Cassie Friesen, based in the Nashville area, and I'm joined here today with Haley Johnston, CEO and founder of the nonprofit Project Free to Fly, based in Cleveland, Tennessee. It's about 30 minutes outside of Chattanooga. This nonprofit was created over a decade ago to serve women in the community who are seeking a better life after crisis recovery. Haley, it's a pleasure to have you here today and share your journey with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So Haley, tell us a bit about your story and really what led you to start Project Free to Fly.
Yeah, so for as long as I can remember, I have just always loved working in my community and working with local missions, even globally, going overseas and doing mission trips, really since a young age. And so with that, I am also a creative. So a big part of my heart is just to be able to see my community, know my community, and then also serve within our community. But then also I have a passion for sewing and creating and even going back to having a small handmade business when my girls were small. So really pairing Free to Fly is really a way that I can put those two things together. I can use sewing and creativity to serve our community here in Cleveland. And so what started as just my life experiences of, being involved in our community and then having a small handmade business and marrying those two ideas together to create this nonprofit that I've been doing for about 10 years now.
That's incredible. I love that. Taking what you can do with your hands and where your passion is in your heart. I love that.
Yeah.
Super
yes.
cool.
Yeah.
So from my understanding, sewing is really one of the key crafts you really use to empower these women in your program. Can you explain some of the other, professional and personal skills that you teach them, and how do you kind of get them going and get them running?
Right. So the sewing aspect is how we give them a job. So we teach them to sew so that they can have an income that supports, them and their families. But then in addition to that, we have a whole program side that is helping them build really foundational things that are going to help them when they leave our program. We don't want them to be here long term. We say we're a stepping stone, we're a bridge between their past and a successful future. And so some of those things are very foundational. We start with, do you even have, all your forms of identification? Do you have a driver's license? Do you have your social security card? When you think about someone the women that we work with, a lot of times are rebuilding their lives. And so they're coming from past crisis circumstances. So we start with really foundational things. Do you have health care? Do you have a checking account? So all of those things have to be accomplished before, when they graduate our program, all those things are checked off in line to build sustainability. So in addition to that, we also do budget classes. We do enrichment classes every week. And so those vary from financial basics to budgeting to emotional intelligence to health and wellness. So we do a wide range of not just the, goals that they're setting and establishing for their selves individually, but then also things that are empowering them and helping them when they go from us, they'll have long-term success. And so a job plus the program side is really helping them build the foundations they need. So when they graduate our program, they do achieve success, sustainability, and, create this new life for themselves.
That's so cool. And I can imagine that when you're teaching them some of these skills, you're bringing in some other community leaders to help run those workshops and sessions. So that's probably a great way for them to collaborate as well with those businesses and with those players in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, people that work at banks that can do budgeting. We work with UT Extension here in our community. They offer a wide range of opportunities and classes. And so we're all about partnering with those in our community. Our very first enrichment class, which I love to think about many, many years ago, was a local a personal trainer. And so she came in and did a health and wellness class with our women. And that was really the first one that we ever did. And she's in our community. And since then she has built her business and she's very successful. And so I just love having those ties to our community in ways that other people can use their skills and talents to serve our women in a unique way. And so we're all about, the community thinking like, okay, I may not sew or, can volunteer in this way, but what are other ways that I can use my skills and talents and knowledge in a way that's going to empower these women and enrich their lives.
I love that. It's really going kind of the full circle as well. So it's not just, giving them that job and that job opportunity, but it's really like empowering them to think about where do they want to go in the future and what direction, but having those skills and then those connections to drive that forward. So I love that. That's really, really cool model. And I can imagine that in your 10 years of running this project, you've come to meet some truly remarkable women that have shown really such bravery and courage to, turn their lives around, but then to also equip themselves with how can they move forward? So could you maybe share and shed some light on some of those transformation stories and what you've seen in your 10 years?
Yeah, so we serve women, we say, from all walks of life. We serve a big demographic of women that are coming from rehab. So big majority of our women are coming from some kind of addiction background. But then we also have women that maybe never have had addiction, but have experienced a cycle of poverty or homelessness and just want a better future for themselves than, what they've always known or what the current circumstance. And then those that have even left domestic, violence situations. So not all our women have an addiction past, but a big demographic do. And so whether they're, overcoming that, which is such an incredible transformation to watch when you watch someone come out of addiction and come out of a rehab facility and desire to get their lives back on track. It is really like, okay, what's next for my life? What's the next step? And so to come alongside of them and just really help them continue dreaming about their future. And we've had women that, one woman in particular says she's going to come back as our 10-year guest speaker. This year we'll celebrate 10 years. And she was in prison, went to rehab as a part of her probation, then came to us. And really through our mentorship program, she started talking with her mentor about like what's next for your life and really setting goals. And she, said, I would like to go back to college. She was in college when she fell into addiction. And so went to college. And while in college said, I think I would love to maybe go to law school and be able to help women that were incarcerated or find themselves in a hopeless situation like I did. And so after her graduation, of course, we went to her college graduation. She excelled. She was an honor student, just did amazing. She got into law school. And this past May, she actually graduated from law school. And so her story is just such an incredible story of transformation and hope. And that's really what she wants to do, is just to use her story to speak, that speak hope into, circumstances where women may think that their choices and that, obviously the consequences of their choices, they, don't have to define their future and they can turn things around. And so for her, hers is just such an incredible story. But we also have women that have come from extreme poverty and just being able to get a sustainable life and achieve getting their high school equivalency, to get that degree was a major goal. And so for them, getting that high school, diploma accreditation is huge for them. And, that's their big goal, and living a sustainable life and finding a career that they can find fulfillment. And so not all of our women, have the same track. That's why it's a very individualized program for each woman. But the goal is for them to find purpose and fulfillment. And so, yes, we have had multiple women. She's not the only one who have gone to college and gotten degrees. But we have so many women that are just in the workforce in our community, just thriving and doing so well in the career field that they have been able to go into after our program.
That's so cool. And do some of the women that leave your program, do then they come and help become like a mentor for the current program, attendees or participants, or I guess you'd say employees?
Yeah. So we do. We have women that come back and volunteer They come and work in the workspace. They come back and just speak encouragement into the women. It's really neat too when we have events like a fundraising celebration event like we're doing in the spring. Last year we did the same. We had 2 of our women that had been out of our program for a while and had been working in our community for a couple of years, and then also a woman who had just graduated our program. So it was neat to hear stories of people that are still successful, and then those that were one that was currently out of our program. But for the women to also sit, they're there at these dinners as well, and they're listening to the stories of women that have gone before them. And it really just renews, the hope and just excitement for them, that when you can see someone else who has gone a similar path, that you're on, but they're ahead of you a little bit and they've achieved and been successful, but at one time they found themselves exactly where you were, that just does so much to motivate the women. So we use any and every opportunity for women to come back, whether they're volunteering. Like one of our women on her day off, she loves to come and just help, cut in the workspace, and just to be anything that we, need help with. So that's really a beautiful thing to see.
I love that. That's so beautiful. And I saw that you offer a women's craft collective. What is this? Tell us a little bit more. Do the women in the program lead that collective? How does that work?
Yeah, so we started this last year. We have a big desire. People want to learn how to sew. I mean, it is a skill. Like I learned when I was 19, so I was older. It's not a skill that I've always known. I didn't learn until I was about 19. And so we love teaching the skill, but a lot of times, women we're busy and, it's hard to do like 4 weeks of lessons the same time, the same night. And so that's what we found was that there was an interest, but just like the consistency of lessons was hard to do. And so we started the Women's Craft Collective last year. And so we were just doing like single nights. So for one night, for 3 to 4 hours, you can come and we provide dinner, like a little snack, and then a craft. And so you're still learning. We're teaching you the basics of sewing, but you're also walking away with a product that you've made. And the women that are a little further along in our program that can come and help. That's kind of a perk, different phases of our program. You can help and, come back and do work extra things that we offer. And so we do have women that will work those events with our creative director, Joanna. She's kind of the one that comes up with the craft collectives and the ideas. And so teaching women how to craft using sewing, but then also like upcycle. We've done jeans where you could take a pair of jeans and add some fabric on the bottom, or even like a jean jacket, adding some patches. And so we're trying to, we love fashion. Obviously, we use it as a way to serve women in our community, but we also want to like connect with other women in our community that, just want to create something. And it is so empowering when you do stuff with your hands, like all of us can benefit from that. And so it's been last year, we try to do them once a month, but just depends on the season, what else we have going on. But they've been really well attended as well.
I love that. Okay, so we'll remember that to do a virtual one with you for Soul Pots, because that would be super cool. The jeans one sounded really fun. I saw the pair of jeans that you made too. That was really awesome. So
yeah, they were fun.
I love that. And it's just a fun way to get women from all different walks of life into the store and work together to make this new project. And then they can hopefully take those skills and do that at home as well in, another form or fashion. So that's really cool. And I love the creative upcycle element and idea. And I saw that you also offer alteration services, and that's being led by the women as well. And can anyone off the street come in and get something repaired? So you're really, implementing this, sustainable service, let's say at Project Free to Fly.
Yeah. So we started that last year because we just got a lot of people asking, and so 2 days a week, we do have a staff member that kind of helps oversee it. That's kind of, besides working with the women, she oversees all the alterations, measuring and making sure. So like 2 days a week, we have limited hours where you can come in where we know she's here. So you can come in, she'll meet with you, and then take all your measurements and everything, and then have the women help do the alterations as well. And so we didn't really realize what a need. Well, we knew it was out there, but then when we started advertising, people have a lot of alteration needs. And so that's been really, just another way for us for the community to support us. I mean, if they, it's benefiting them, but then they're also able to use, they know that they're benefiting our organization by using us for something as simple as alteration. So yeah, we've trying to expand without spreading ourselves too thin, kind of keeping our products forefront, obviously, but coming up with creative ways that we can, increase revenue to support the women is always on our mind.
Absolutely. Tell us about some of your favorite products. What do you have right now? What's kind of standing out to you?
Yeah, so I just like everybody kind of go through seasons of carrying like a big bag or, a small. We've really come out with, because we use genuine leather for our products. And so this past year, you're talking about, sustainable, just all things. We're trying to not cut back on waste. And so we've created a lot of small products from, smaller pieces of leather. Obviously, our bags take a lot of leather, but then trying to come up with small. And so really cool, AirPod case that's really neat, made out of genuine leather, and some little just wallets. I'm either use a big wallet or just need something really small with a few credit cards. And so I alternate. So right now I'm just a few credit cards on my keychain, ready to go. I love that our products, we offer something for everyone. And so, yes, our bags obviously are very well made, genuine leather bags that are beautiful. We design everything ourselves. And so our creative director, Joanna Ivy, is the one that comes up with our designs. And so you don't see any of our products anywhere else, especially our bags and wallets. So they're very unique to our organization. And so I love that I can have a weekender bag that I travel. If I'm flying, I can carry that all the way to my everyday crossbody that I can throw on and shop with. And so I feel and as a woman, we love our options and our accessories. And so it's really hard for me to choose a favorite because, the cool thing too is that we're always changing out fabrics. So every season we have different fabric options. So I want everything all the time. I want to change out, just the different, but that's part of being a female. I think we like changing things out. And so I would say which is kind of unique to our area. We do have a belt bag. I'm sorry. It's a belt bag. That's the proper word. And it's called the Clevegus because it's kind of Cleveland. It's kind of the town. People joke Clevegus is kind of a funny name to call Cleveland, Tennessee. And so it's called the Clevegus belt bag. And that one is probably one of my favorite because last year we went to Disney World, threw that thing on, but then I love it for every day because it's I can throw it in a bigger bag. So the Clevegus belt bag has definitely been one of our most popular products this past year as well. So I guess if I had to choose a favorite, that's probably my favorite right now still.
That's awesome. And what you said with, making sure that you're thinking about waste reduction and, sustainable practices. One thing I saw with a small business, they would take the material from last season, and let's say you'd have small bits of that, and they would use that as another accessory or project for the coming up season. And it would be kind of, a zero waste product, but maybe something very small. So like you said, maybe the iPod little carrying case, for example. Do you ever kind of think about those little one-off projects that you can utilize, maybe some materials that were from last season or, from the scraps of even, project that you're currently working on?
Yeah, we definitely have fabric. One thing I love are bookmarks. So we have these little square bookmarks that have a back of it's a square and then the front is slit so that you can slide it over the book or the page. And those are very popular. We just restocked. We literally cannot keep those in stock, but that's an example because it just takes a little bit of fabric. And so we will make all those up into, the bookmarks are popular. We do have little fabric pouches. And it's so funny too, because a lot of times when we do that, people will come in because, we advertise our products are customizable, and we'll have people come in and they'll see a fabric from last season and they'll want to order it in the bag. And so, that gets a little no, sorry, you can't order that, but you can buy it in a bookmark. So yeah, we definitely use, it's kind of and I think that makes our product unique. If you love a fabric, you need to get it because it may be gone. And so, but we definitely have a lot of smaller products that eliminate waste for sure. And that makes it interesting too, because we're always, able to offer new things by doing that too.
And it seems like you really take a small batch approach. You're not going to produce, vast amount of products. You're going to really kind of keep it fresh and, per season. So I think having that small batch approach also probably helps you, from not only an operational efficiency perspective, but from a waste management perspective. So I think that's something really cool that you guys have developed. So I like that. So tell me a little bit more about the annual Bird and Barn event. I know that's a really important annual event that you host. Can you tell us about how you come up with that and really how does that play into the importance of the project's mission?
Yeah, so year one of launching our nonprofit, we were like, we have to raise money to be able to operate. And so at the time, this will be the 11th year we've done it. So that first year, there was just really not anything like this. Some friends and I, we traveled to Montgomery, Alabama, to this little chapel. And it was a similar, market, handmade, vintage, just very unique. And we were like, oh my goodness, this is the greatest thing we've ever been to. We need to do this one in our area. And so we really, that year of launching it, it was just such a unique event. And we worked hard to curate the vendors. So it was like, you didn't feel like you were just going to like your usual craft market kind of fair situation. So we made it very unique. And that year, it was so well attended. It took off. It was so funny because we really spent the next few years kind of reeling it back in for people to know it was our organization's fundraising event, not just a standalone event. And so we laughed because it was just a really cool thing for us to see just how successful it was. But then also we feel like we want people to understand that it's not just a fun event, but it's supporting our organization. And so we celebrated the 10th one last year. And what we do is we curate very unique artisans from our area. So they have to fit in a category of handmade, local, just very unique products, which can get a little tricky and a little hard because, you want, I don't know, you know that there are those people out there, but you obviously don't want duplicate, even if we have 2 to 3 different jewelry, it's not going to be the same type. So we do have other artisans in our area, local goods like food. We have a local farm that comes and sells their meats. And so it's a really like supporting local. It's not just supporting our organization, which it is our main fundraising event. We do really well through it, but we also have always said it's a cool thing for us to be able to spotlight other local vendors, and vendors do well. Like every year, they always tell us that the community really, it's a well attended and well supported event for them as well as a small business. And so it's at our local Black Fox Farm. So it's a wedding venue. And that's what also I think sets it apart, is that the venue is amazing inside this barn, in the middle of this working nursery. So gorgeous, just plants all around you, and this courtyard that's lit. We always have a coffee truck and food and live music. And so it's just a really fun. It's a lot of work. We have a whole committee that helps plan this every year, but it truly is my favorite 2 days because it's a Friday night and a Saturday. It's truly like 2 of my favorite days of the whole year because of just the ambiance of the place, and then just how the community comes out and has supported our organization for 11 years now. It's just really an amazing thing to see.
That's so awesome. I love that. Can anyone come, or is it really like local, mostly it's going to be your local community members?
No.
But could other people join as well?
Yeah, anybody can come. We've had, and our vendors end up being from kind of like a tri-area. Like we've had people from Knoxville, Nashville, Atlanta. So we've had vendors kind of come in surrounding areas. And so you get crowds of people that, come from all over. And the really cool thing, we were a few years into our organization and we had someone, one of our supporters actually fly in from Texas to come to the event. And so, yeah, so that's a really cool thing. Someone that had followed us, she was meeting a girlfriend that lived within driving distance. So they kind of made it a weekend of it. And so like we've had people come in. So that's really neat. Anybody can come. You can buy tickets pre-purchase, but then also like tickets. Anybody can walk up and buy a ticket at the door at the event. So yeah, it's
awesome.
a really fun time.
And remind me, when will the next one be? So that way, if anyone's interested in checking it out, is it in the fall?
Yeah, this year it's September. It's the it's September 20th and 21st this year. So it's a little bit earlier. We used to do it in October. And then last year we had moved it to September, and just the response, people really loved it being in September. So we've kept it in September this year before before fall gets too crazy. So the 20th and 21st of September this year.
Perfect time, perfect weather for in Tennessee here as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So how can the community, how can others, outside of Tennessee, how can we help support Project Free to Fly? And what can we do to just be, more aware of what your mission is?
Yeah, so we sell all our products online, so you can shop our website. We love when we get orders from, all over the country. That's a really humbling thing, I think, for our staff to see, when we're processing orders and people, not just in our local community, are shopping our products. But we've hit, several years ago, we hit this really cool milestone. We've shipped to every state in the U.S. and even some other countries. And so I think that's really empowering for the women too, that they know that our local community believes in them and believes, what they're trying to achieve. But when they hear people from all over are, wanting to purchase the products that they make, that's just a really cool thing for them. And so obviously, purchasing our products is an easy way. And we have price points where we feel like anybody could, support. There's something for everybody. And so purchasing our products, encourage, attending Bird and Barn, come into our events, come into our storefront if you're in town, and then also just sharing about our organization, the power of like social media and just online, what the potential is out there, and just word of mouth to just sharing our story and what our organization is doing. That's just, another way for our reach to grow. And for people to hear about us and what we're doing in our community. And so I think there's just, multiple ways that people can, find a way to support us through one of those avenues for sure.
Absolutely. And if there was, a young woman who wanted to start a project like yours, maybe she was in Colorado or, Montana, let's say, what would you recommend to her? How should she think about, kind of structuring an organization similar to what you're doing? And maybe it's not accessories, but maybe it's, something else that's creative. What would really be your advice to this young girl who's really looking to help change the lives of other women or, some other demographic?
Yeah, no, I think using like what you're passionate about, what your skills are, or, any idea that you may have, and then for me early on, I think finding other women that had the same heart as me to help just kind of dream and get ideas and really start this thing. So finding a supportive community, identifying, who you're serving. Obviously, for me, I was working with an organization called Family Promise that serves families that have found themselves homeless. So it has to be, adults with children that they serve. And I think identifying seeing women that I knew, okay, this is who this would be for. I really identified the need in my community, how I could help meet that need, and then actually putting a face just to the idea was empowering for me and really helped, spark, fuel the flame, just the spark I was having to do this. When I started seeing, okay, this is an actual need. So I think surrounding yourselves, obviously kind of getting a sketch of what you want to do. Obviously this idea of sewing, when I met, and kind of came up with my business plan of what I wanted to do and what the resources, then I realized okay, what I want to do on top of just giving these women of a job, this could not sustain itself if it was just a for-profit. So it needs to be a nonprofit. So, deciding is the business model sustainable to what you're wanting to achieve? I didn't just want to give a job to women. I wanted to give them resources. And so early on, I was okay, this needs to be a nonprofit. So started seeking, counsel on what that looks like. And there's so many resources in your community, no matter where you are. I mean, everybody has a small business or should have a small business association through, at the community college or just in your town. So there are resources, I think, and that was such a huge, just early on thing for me, was to have the guidance and wisdom of other people that knew what they were doing to kind of help steer me. And then just to also have people that could, align their hearts with mine so that we could get this thing going and get it off the ground. And a lot of it is because I do get asked a lot. We do get asked by people. And I think a lot of it too is like just doing it and figuring it out as you go also. Like, I know that seems kind of like a simple answer, but it's so true. Like, just doing it, going for it, and trusting and knowing that you're going to learn. It's a learning process. So I think like you can kind of have a blueprint and a map of like what this looks like. But I think for the individual doing something like what we've done here at Free to Fly, a lot of it is like learning as you go.
Absolutely. And same thing for Soul Pods. We're still learning every single day. So
yeah,
we appreciate you. And I'm sure if you looked back 15 years ago, you probably wouldn't even imagine where you're at today. And I think your young self would be, well, you're still very young, but she would be smiling at you. She'd be smiling at you.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. So, Haley, just as kind of one last question and really as a wrap up, we like to ask all of our guests if they had one sustainability superpower, what would it be and why?
So I think that it's funny because like I love to go and do and be at all times. And so if I could like rest without resting, without sleeping, I mean, I love sleep. I love a good nap, but I also like some days I just like don't want to go to, I'm like, I just want to keep going. I just want to keep working. I 100% believe in rest. I'm not saying that we should be workaholics and work all the time. I'm not saying that, but I think, for me, like if I could just do, and I think that's just our personality, do more and be more, and just be well rested at the same time. Does that make sense?
Energizer Bunny, that's charged with solar power. Okay, yes. I got it.
Yes, that's
makes perfect sense.
I just need to walk out in the sun and I got what I need. So absolutely, yeah, that sounds good. I love it.
That's perfect. I feel like you're already doing a lot. It looks like you're a busy mom. You're a busy, executive director. You're doing a lot in your community. So you're already doing a lot. So
thank you.
Definitely have to give yourself the grace too. I think you're doing great.
You're right. And I do speak to, we do need to rest and take our moment. So I'm an advocate for resting 100%.
And you like to run too, right?
I do like to run. Yeah, that's definitely big on exercising and stress. Just every day I'm a big runner and love to exercise. And that definitely helps, I think.
Awesome.
Everybody. That's important.
You need to find your thing, whether it's, if it's not running, but I just signed up to Pure Barre and I've been going there for like 2 or 3 weeks and I love it. And you didn't even realize until you change your kind of lifestyle in your days, you don't realize how much of an impact it really makes. So
absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Highly encourage all those working moms or, anyone out there, everyone needs that balance. So I think that's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thank you, Haley, so much for being here today, for sharing your story. And we're so grateful for everything that you've done with Project Free to Fly. And I really love how you're bridging the gap between really past circumstances and hope for a successful future for these women. So thank you for that. And I know you've touched the lives of many women. So, kudos to you and to your team. And as International Women's Day is just right around the corner, March 8th, I would really love to remind everyone, how important it is to support small businesses, especially small women-led businesses like Haley's business, and get out there, support them, shop them, help just raise awareness for what they're doing. And I would also love to just encourage everyone to think about inclusion at the workplace, at your university, wherever you are, and just keep an open mindset that differences are really to be celebrated. They bring such a unique viewpoint to any organization or to any school. And I think that we all can help inspire inclusion in what we're doing and help bring a more equitable future for everyone. So If you're not on Soul Pods yet, come in, check it out. We're celebrating equality all the time, and we actually have a pod designated for this topic. And we love to highlight positive strides that are going on across the globe to help really close the gender gap and just raise awareness for other DEI-related topics. So come and join us. And again, Haley, thank you so much for being here with us today. And I hope everyone goes to check out all your amazing products and join for one of your upcoming events.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Haley. Take care.